And the truth now is that art is the real deal. Before, when we were in science class, it was like, oh, doctors are the only one that can make it in life. Oh, engineers, they're the only one that can make it in life. Oh, nurses, go and do nursing, you will make it. But now, see, filmmakers are making billions.
The entertainment
Producers are
industry.
making billions of naira. Tech people are making money. It's not about, in fact, creativity is now selling. You will see a content creator, something as like, let me say, you like the unprofessional as making content, making skits, you will see them making millions of naira, and you are wondering that, okay, so what is the essence? So me, I want to advise anyone that has other interests aside from academic or professional things to actually go for it. Like, just do you, and people will catch up later.
Hey there, and welcome to another episode of the 𝗕𝗵𝘀𝘶𝗹, the podcast where we spotlight nurse leaders, innovators, entrepreneurs, digital enthusiasts, and amazing professionals who are doing incredible things beyond the bedside. On today's episode, we have a very special guest, a nurse who has been able to merge two different worlds together, the healthcare and arts. Her story is one full of inspiration, resilience, and creativity. Ready for this one? Let's get right into it. Thank you once again, Nurse Bisola, for joining us on today's episode of 𝗕𝗵𝘀𝘶𝗹. It's really, really exciting and a great pleasure to have you here. So I know, looking back from your profile, you mentioned, and I've actually also come across, some of your posts on LinkedIn where it all explains your deep passion and interest in arts, right? And combining arts with healthcare. So I would allow you to actually go ahead and introduce yourself.
Okay, good evening. It's so nice to be here. I'm super excited to, be doing this because I count it a privilege to be part of the people that will be giving 𝗕𝗵𝘀𝘶𝗹. I feel like that name is so unique. Thank you so much for calling me, and I'm so happy to be here. My name is Bisola Ajayi. I am a registered nurse and a registered midwife and a registered public health nurse. And I call myself a creative change maker because I believe myself to be a creative. I believe myself to be someone who is also interested in art, in everything that has to do with creativity in general. So it's such a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you once again for that warm introduction. So we're actually going to get started right away with the questions. Can you take us back to where your journey with art and nursing began? What was the defining moment that made you realize that you can merge the two? Because especially, where we're coming from in Nigeria, and we have, in secondary school, we have the arts, we have the science. And we know that there's always that competition and debate between which of the two is better. And, we don't usually see the integration between both of them. So from where you're coming from, right, your journey back with art and then how you began your journey in nursing, what was the defining moment for you that made you realize that you can actually merge the two of them?
Okay, so my creativity journey started as a writer, basically. Everyone, like, as a writer, we used to say, oh, I wanted to express myself, I wanted to let the world know what I'm thinking about, my thought process, and that was just where it started for me too. I was someone that had a lot of things packed in. I'm a thinker, let me say like that. I am a dreamer, and I just wanted people to just see into what goes on in my head. So that was where writing started for me, and later it moved into spoken word poetry. I started writing poems. I think I used to post on my WhatsApp status at that time. I'll post, and then a lot of people will message me and be like, oh, that was good, that was amazing. And I felt like it was the applause of people around that time that made me feel like, okay, this could be something more. So I intensified, and then I became a spoken word artist. I became a performer. I used to go for events. This event invite me for physical events, for art events. I used to perform open mics. I used to write a lot of amazing pieces about life, about love, about healthcare, and it just was amazing because that moment in my life was the time when I was unashamed about whatever I was doing. I didn't care. And most times when I go to this sip and paints, when I go to these art events, when I go to this open mic, I meet a lot of people that are not into healthcare. And then when I introduce myself and say, oh, I'm registered, and they're like, okay, what are you doing here? Like, we don't used to see people like you here. What are you doing? Are you not busy? Are you not doing this or that? And most times I just feel like, okay, I'm just here. People should accept me. And I remember a lot of people challenge me like, why don't you just focus on your healthcare? You are doing amazing already. You have a long ride of a good career ahead of you. Why are you? Most times I'm usually distracted in school. I will not go to my classes and go for events and all of that. But then I just felt like one day I just sat down. I felt like instead of living a two contrasting lives, why don't I just try and um try and merge it together in some way? Try and give it a defining capacity in the sense that why don't I just do something that I can make both make sense to people and to people that actually love my work. So that was where it all started from, and I decided to combine both, and it's been a good journey so far. Yeah.
Okay, that's lovely. I think I picked something from your statement. You made mention of, that at that time you're not ashamed of showing up and, you're showing up authentically. So it's not one of
Yeah.
the questions, but then is it okay now? You're kind of ashamed showing up, okay, you are in arts plus the healthcare, or it has actually even helped you push yourself to shop more authentically? Which of the
Yeah,
two?
it has. Well, I think both works. I think both apply to me. Why? Because I've actually met people that ask me annoying questions like, "Hello, are you even doing well? Like, are you sure you're actually doing well?" Especially when I was in university. Are you sure you are doing well? Someone literally asked me that, "What is your CGPA?" Because they were wondering how I'm doing something that is totally out of okay. And you know, when you're in university, nursing school can be so draining, so
Yeah.
demanding, it can be so draining, honestly. And but I knew that I wanted more outside of the hospital postings, outside of the lectures, outside of the whole nothing school shenanigans. I just knew that I wanted more. I wanted to experience more. And literally, if I tell you, I can tell you that poetry actually gave me a leverage because let me even just you. So I met 𝗕𝗓𝘗𝘀 through poetry. Is that not funny? I
Wow.
met her through poetry. 𝗕𝗓𝘗𝘀, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So I don't know. I think that was when I just joined LinkedIn. So I think I posted a link to one of my poetry classes, and a lot of creatives joined. My friends, big performers in Lagos, and all of that. And she joined in too. So something happened. We did a small competition to write a poetry prompt, and people sent in their poetry. And as the host, I decided to pick three people to give gifts to. And amazingly, 𝗕𝗓𝘗𝘀𝘀 wrote a poem and she was part of the winner. At that time, I didn't know her. I didn't know her at all. I didn't know who she was. I didn't know. I was just there. So in my mind, I just sent, okay, I was like, what can I give these people? As a university student, I was very broke. So I was like, okay, let me just send data to people that win this poetry prompt. So I think even 1 gig or 2 gig, I can't really remember. So I sent her a text message and I sent her that data. She was like, oh, thank you very much for this data and all of that. So it was later on, I now went to search for her profile on LinkedIn. So I was like, oh my God, so this person is even a big person. I didn't know that this person is even, you know, it's also funny. I was like, so I'm sending 1 gig of data to this person, and it was just so funny. And that was how we connected. And it's been like meeting her as one of the most interesting and most interesting experiences of my nursing career because she actually mentored me. She put me through a lot of things, and I'm just so grateful that it was because of what I pushed out that made me meet someone like that. So yeah, I don't know if I answered your question.
Yeah. So imagine you didn't even, put out that poetry there. You started to just box yourself that
Yeah,
I'm a nurse, right? If there is, you
yeah,
actually made the most out of your school days because for me, I would say if I could go back and change something in my nursing school days, I would at least, I think I will at least, open up myself to exploring extracurricular activities because to be honest, like you just
mm-hmm.
mentioned, it's being a nursing student, and not just even a nursing student alone, but being a student is not just being about being a student. There's so much more you can actually do when you put yourself out there. And that was what you did. So yeah, imagine if you didn't
Yeah,
even put out that poetry, you wouldn't have maybe the relationship. I don't know what would have happened by now though, but that
yeah,
was actually a great step. Now, just like we mentioned about nurses boxing themselves up, and you mentioned some of your friends were asking, "What are you doing here? Aren't you supposed to be, focusing on nursing, healthcare?" And that is the many challenge nurses face today, right? Many nurses often feel boxed into only clinical practice. Now, what inspired you to step outside that box and explore creativity as part of your career? I think you've actually mentioned it, but I want us to go deeper into that. I don't know if you've gotten the question.
since I did not want to define life, I still don't want to. And during my clinical postings, I met a lot of nurses that I saw their life, I saw their cycle. I'm not trying to. I'm not trying to shade anything or anyone, but I just feel like going from hospital to your house, maybe to your religious activity, back to the hospital to your house. I didn't want to leave that cycle, and I decided to change that. And one thing that people say about me is I'm a very passionate person. So if I set my mind on something, I go all the way.
Really?
So I believe that as someone, if you want to do well in life, if you want to do well in life, you cannot be ordinary. You cannot just live your life as if you are following a routine, as if you are following a particular cycle. Life does not raise people that live their life as a routine. So I decided to go outside the box, and going outside the box most times it usually sounds like something you should do, like just do something, just face it. And no, going outside the box means being extraordinary, doing being a first setter, being bold enough to challenge and do something that you people will normally not do. So
Mm.
that's just it. And when you put a spice to something, there's a way people will look at it and be like, oh, I've never seen that before. That was unique. So if you notice people that are online, people that are doing well on social media, you will notice that at least you know them for something spectacular. So when I
Yeah.
mention fashion, when I mention corset, when I mention creativity in fashion, in design, you will think of Vicky James. Like it's just it just comes to you like, okay, who is this person in this space that is extra, that just comes out. And when you think of let me see, when you think of comedy, you can think of a lot of people, you can think of a lot of things. But when you are talking about somebody that can do like 10 characters at once, you will think of Taoma. I'm talking in Nigerian context of people that are not Nigerian. But
Mm.
you just know that there is a unique stuff that is attached to them. So I believe that if you want to do well, if you want to be recognized in life, you have to put a start to it. In LinkedIn, we call it having a unique brand identity, and I
Mhm.
really love that word because it just really defines the fact that you cannot just, okay, everybody is doing this, let me also do this. Everybody is making this, let me also make that. Let me also, you have to. And the thing is that we all have our original and authentic self. We all have it. It's not something that, oh, I need to go and think about. Just be yourself. When you're yourself, there is a special way I talk. And if you move with me for a long time, you will know that, oh, this is the way this person talks. So let me just add this, that there was a time I was talking with someone. He was my very close friend, and he used to say something. He used to say a particular phrase. He'd be like, um, I'm trying to remember now. It would be like, normal, normal. If you do this and this, and this what is normal, normal. If you do this and this and that, he just used to attack that normal, normal in his conversations. And I noticed that long enough, I also picked up that normal, normal. And I prefer to like bring myself out or draw people in. It will draw attention to yourself. It will people that resonate with your values become. So yeah, that's the answer. I don't know if I answered the question.
Yeah, it's okay. And I think you actually made a post about that, everyone sounding the same. And I actually came across another post on LinkedIn by another creator. And it just takes us back to the point that everyone has a unique perspective. Imagine if all of us sounds the same. Okay, if all of us are nurses and all we know how to do is give injections, or just that's a role that everyone defines nurses as. There's no that unique perspective coming. I feel like it's going to be very, very, very boring. So actually having unique, gifts and talents, even God knows that. That's why he puts in everyone, that special gift and that unique perspective to just complement other roles and other people at the end of the day. So that was actually a unique insight. I want you to tell us more about your art for Heart Initiative, right? It's something I found out from your profile. So what's the vision behind it, and how has it impacted healthcare professionals and patients so far?
Okay, so when I started speaking, you noticed that I said I decided to match both my passion for art and healthcare together. And when I started, I didn't know that there was anything that has to do with art and healthcare. So I was searching, I searched online. Google was not giving me the answer I wanted. And then later I found out that uh, there was a particular fellowship abroad, which is Art in Medicine Fellowship, Global Art in Medicine Fellowship. So it was the organization that changed things around for me because in the first year, I did not have the financial capacity to join, so I was still a student. So then the second year, I got funds from I think my friend and then from someone else. I put up the money there because they charged in dollars and I had to pay. I paid and then I think no, it was not even in dollars, it was in pounds.
Wow.
So I had to pay and I joined. And then that was where I was able to get the exposure that art has the power to heal. art has the extraordinary power to you. So the same way we say, oh, this song is therapeutic. When I listen to it, I feel better. When I there's this particular artwork that just inspired me, I bought it and placed it in my space. Oh, this song, this music just gets me every time. Oh, this song has been on repeat. There's just something that is just our mental health, and that was where I was able to meet with professionals, art professionals, and people that are even in the healthcare space that are using art with. You can believe that something as small as dancing can actually change something for your patient. And I think in the healthcare, in the clinicals, I think in Nigeria we call it is it distraction technique or something? Yes, distraction. Just to distract them from that process of healing, just to distract them from the whole medical stuff, being in bed all day, and it just gets better. Sometimes it's not actually the medical condition that affects the patients the most. It's the space that they are in, because they are seeing doctors going doing their rounds. Nurses are always checking vital signs. It can be very annoying sometimes to some patients. They are just in a space where everywhere seems chaotic, and then maybe the person that is even beside them by their bedside just died, and there is no space to just let off steam. And you will notice that for someone like that, something as small as adding a bit of color, or maybe playing a music or something like that, just changed the game for them and just made them fitter. So that was just the root of me founding my initiative, which is Art for Art, like ART for HEART initiative. And the call of AFH initiative is creative expression. So we wanted to express, we wanted to, because all of us we were born artists. That's just the truth. We were born artists, and the thing with that is that you notice when we were young, we put crayon, we start draw anyhow, we will do all of that. We were trying to express something. Sometimes we will draw a small head, we will draw big hand. Then our parents will be like, "What is it that you drew?" And then they will give us assignments. We are just free to express. And you notice that kids are never bitter. Kids are never bitter. Why? Because they have the power to, they have that childlikeness to express themselves creatively. Sorry. So I think creative expression is something that we all need as adults, because adulting can be adulting sometimes. Things can get heavy. Things can get very, very traumatic sometimes, and we need that healing. We need to express ourselves. So something as small as journaling can actually change the game. Something as small as letting out to a friend, dancing, playing a music. And that is just the core of AFH initiatives, creative expression, to bring joy, comfort, and healing to healthcare professionals, particularly, and their patients. And so far, we just started in January. I just started. And presently, we are working on building a product for healthcare professionals to express themselves. I feel like this is the first time I'm announcing online. So, yeah. So, we are working on building a particular product for healthcare professionals, which is going to be launched very soon, maybe early next year. And it's just been a series of work. So, we are in the early stages, and I cannot really wait to let it out to the world. Yeah.
I can't wait to. I was about to ask. Okay, so how are we going to incorporate this whole initiative into the Nigerian healthcare space? And you've actually revealed it. So we can't wait for the big launch. I'm sure it's going to be very, very, very helpful, and it's going to make a difference at the end of the day. Because definitely, just like you mentioned, it's something that we actually need. We don't see the importance maybe because we've not incorporated it before, but this is something that can actually make a very, very huge difference in the whole aspect of healing. Because healing is not just even about taking the medications, the injections, and all that. There is a different approach to it, right? Thank you so much. We can't wait for the big launch once again. Yeah,
Thank you.
nursing school can be tough, right? Just like you even mentioned, nursing school can be tough. And then you mentioned that your dad once told you to pick a struggle. How did you navigate family expectations while staying true to your passion? You know how African parents can be, right? So once they choose this particular profession for you, you have to, stick with that. It's very hard to find yourself
Mm.
navigating going out of it, except for people who are really, really stubborn. So how are you able to navigate, family expectations with actually following your passion for art and now see what you're doing? You're merging both of them together to create, positive impact and a difference in healthcare.
Okay, so I've been asked this question a number of times, and if I'll answer your question, what did I do? I showed him results. I gave him credibility. I did not give him a chance to say, "Oh, I told you so." Did I not tell you to be serious? So let me just give this backstory. So one day, I went home on a holiday, which is usually never common in nursing school. I went to greet my friends, take food stuff, all those student things. And then my dad, he loves to, I don't even know how to explain, because he just loves to follow me up online. So he searched for me on Facebook, and that time I think I connected my Instagram to my Facebook. So what I posted on my Instagram was posted on Facebook. He saw one of my posts where I wrote about love, and then he started. I think I was it 200 level or 300 level at that time. And then he started me. I just called him. I was like, "Oh, Bisola, sit down. We have a conversation." I was like, "Okay, what's going on?" And he was like, "Who is Kunle?" In my mind, I was like, "Okay, who is Kunle? I don't know." So when he started saying it, I was like, "Oh, someone I wrote about on my in my poem." That read that poem. At first, I was happy, and then he asked a big question, a struggle. So I was like, um, I don't know. I'm not going to pick any. I'm not going to pick any. I'm going to pick both. And later, he just learned to accept me the way I am, because I never had an F in uni. I didn't give him a chance to say, "Oh, I told you so. I told you you're not serious. You're not this. You're not that." And I just gave him that credibility. I made him trust me that, oh, she might be doing nothing, but she knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
She might be posting, she might be doing all of those things, but trust me, she knows what she's doing. So I made sure that my extracurricular activities with nursing and with being in school, being in university, because as you know, nursing school can be very tough and demanding, like you said. And at that time, I also started building my career. So I used to go for conferences, I used to go for conventions, summits, and I used to meet people. Like, I feel like that was the place where I was able to meet a number of people of influence, and it has actually helped me, because I knew it was that time I got exposed to networking and to opportunities and to meeting people. Just during school, I would tell my friend, "Oh, we're having a class. Please let me jot down these notes and all of that." So whenever it's exam time, I used to go to the library. I would spend sometimes whenever it's exam time, I used to shut down. I used to shut down my curricular activities. I make sure that my head is in one place. I don't try to be go all about, doing all those kind of things. So I used to focus. Sometimes I used to read in the library for 8 hours straight, because I knew that um I have to cover the things that I have, the backlog of things that I have not done. And honestly, this thing I just said now, I will not advise nursing students to follow my way, because it can be very dangerous. Trust me. But I knew myself. Like, I feel like that's the root cause for everyone that will be successful in life. What works for one might not work for another. So I knew my reading style. Number one, I knew who I wanted to be. I knew that I could not get who exactly I wanted to be in the four corners of a lecture theater or a lecture hall. So I knew that I had to go, I had to do more, I had to pursue even more. So that was the process I met a lot of people too. A lot of times I graduated from my school. He was my senior, if you know him, the founder of LinkedIn Local Nigeria. And I know, like, this thing I'm saying is what he also does. He will travel like a day before exam and come back the night of the exam to come back. Like, that I just noticed that trend among people that wanted more. You cannot just be so comfortable with just going to school. These days, you have to chase 10,000 things. So honestly, so I just really thank God, because I was able to do all that. And then I had friends that inspired me. I had friends that helped me too, that they will see an opportunity and
Share with
they will
you.
see an opportunity and share with me that, oh, Bisola, this competition is going on, come and participate. Oh, we have this event, come and speak. And I feel like that was all my public speaking. I was a very shy person. Aside from being shy, my communication before was not so smooth. I was not brave enough to confidently speak in public. And when you are called to come and speak and they have high expectations for you, there's no how. I have to brace myself. I have to read books. I have to speak in front of mirror. And spoken word poetry, you want to perform. Performing is different from talking. So I have to still put inside myself that character of that person that I was that I wanted to perform about. And it was just a whole lot, because I don't have a background in theater or all those kind of things. So I just had to train myself, and that helps my public speaking, that helps my networking skills, that helps everything. It just changed the game for me, because I developed confidence. Because when you speak and you meet creative people that are not in your space, people that might not even understand what you are what you are doing in healthcare space and you see something about healthcare and they are excited and they learn, they have insight and then they see you after the event and I'm like, oh, what you said right there was amazing. Like I really felt it. Thank you so much for sharing. There's a way you should build your confidence. So because I put myself out there early enough, I was able to build that confidence that, oh, I'm not, and I think that is the best thing. That if you have strict parents, if you have people that if you have people in your life like a support system that they don't really believe in what you are doing or your vision, I believe the best thing is to give them results in what they want you to do first. So in the sense that if you are in school and what you are doing is not, some people, it's not even about nursing. Some people, they will say, oh, I wanted to do nursing, I wanted to do medicine, they gave me this, they gave me that, but my passion is tech. All right. So before they can allow you to be yourself, before they can allow you to even sponsor you financially, you have to give them that trust, that result that, oh, I know what I'm doing, I'm serious, I'm not trying to just be frivolous and all of that. And the truth now is that art is the real deal. Before, when we were in science class, it was like, oh, doctors, they're the only one
Yeah.
that are making it in life. Oh, engineers, they're the only one that are making it in life. Oh, nurses, God, do nothing, you will make it. But now, see, filmmakers are
See,
making billions.
the entertainment
Producers are making
industry.
billions of naira. Tech people are making
Hmm.
money. It's not about, in fact, I don't want to say that even doctors, some doctors are actually very broke these days because the world has turned around. The world is not the same anymore, and creativity is now selling. You will see a content creator, something as like, let me say, you like the unprofessional as making content, making skits. You will see
Hmm.
them making millions of naira, and you are wondering that, okay, so what is the essence? So me,
Of it.
I want to advise anyone that has other interests aside from academic or professional things to actually go for it. Like, just do you, and people will catch up later.
Oh, this is very, very detailed. I'm very, very sure any student nurse or any student who actually comes across this and they are battling with, okay, I have multiple interests. Can I actually chase other things? Because I've seen a lot of questions even online, students trying to juggle. I have interest in, doing extracurricular activities, but I have to study, right? And there are some people who believe that, okay, I don't really think this school is worth it, right? They tend to have this belief that school is kind of, they should just focus on the whole trending thing of the content creation and entertainment. But still, I'm very sure that when they actually, watch this or read this article, they will be able to at least pick up from what you've shared because it's a lot. It's very, very detailed. Because even me personally, I've learned, picked up some insights. So I'm sure they will actually pick up, some insights on how to juggle multiple interests and how to balance, everything. Because just like you mentioned, results matter. So I don't think any discussion
Yeah.
about nurses is complete without burnout. So burnout is actually a real issue among nurses and healthcare professionals. Now, how do you think creativity and the arts can play a role in strengthening mental resilience? Because I believe that is actually going to make a huge difference if nurses approach, you know, um, navigating burnout with arts and creativity. So let's hear from you.
Okay, thank you so much for that question. I'm of the opinion that creativity is one of the most important and interesting ways to get out of the burnout. In the sense that creativity is not, when people say creativity, we tend to give it a serious definition, or we tend to give it a kind of art related uh, definition, which is not usually so. Creativity literally means breaking out of a pattern.
Mm.
That's just what creativity. So if somebody uses paper to make an aeroplane and then try to work his or her way around it to make it fly, is that not creative? That's creative. So it has broken, the person broke a way out of the usual thing. And you say, oh, is a creative, is good, is that, is innovative, and you just use all those things, and that's just what creativity is. But as creativity can also be applied to our health, it can be applied to our life, our well-being. Being us, most of us have the routine of maybe hospital to your house, back to maybe your religious activity, back to the hospital, like that. And most times we even cancel our major outings in a lot of activities that we have that is not hospital. We just cancel because we are on shift, we are on afternoon shift, and we have to meet up. But majorly, I believe that creativity is breaking out of that pattern of that routine. And even if you want to even count it chemically, or is chemically the right word? Our prefrontal cortex, there is something that doing creative things does. It activates our prefrontal cortex, which is known for self-regulation, known for problem solving, known for resilience. So when you take a walk, after a very long shift, or after being so tired and stressed, you are breaking out of the pattern that you are used to, and your brain will be like, oh, that's new, that's fresh, yeah, I love it, let's do this again. So it pumps up that you even feel refreshed. You feel you feel to um you feel ready to take on another challenge, because you have activated that aspect of your brain, the prefrontal cortex, that helps with your resilience, with your problem solving, with your self-regulation. So most times as nurses we are overstimulated, because you see a lot of things, you talk to patients, you talk to their relatives, it's just a lot of talking, and sometimes we even do things that has to do with we just get overstimulated with a lot of things. You know, the beeping of the machine, the constant having to be alert, being so conscious of our environment, of our patient health, just a lot of overstimulation. But doing something as small as painting, or maybe drawing something or journaling. I believe journaling can also be a creative activity. You know, having writing down the things that you went through during the day and then reading it again, you just feel like somebody else is talking to you and you just feel better. It does for me. And then all these things, it just helps. And another thing that is creative activity, when you do something that you don't used to do normally, it challenge your brain,
Mm.
and then it just comes this energy, and you're just like, it's just like as an introvert, um it's just like as an introvert doing something that you don't used to do before, and then you later find out that, oh, I actually enjoy this thing. I
Yeah.
actually enjoy. So it just activates your dopamine and just make you feel better. So all this is the reason why, is one of the ways whereby creativity can help with your burnout. So if, as long as, if you are doing something that we don't usually do, for example, to um going out to an event that you normally wouldn't go, maybe you were encouraged by a friend, or maybe someone encouraged you, oh, let's go for this particular event and all, you find out that you even feel very happy, especially if it's something that you're interested in. So if I would advise not that, would say that we should break free from that routine of constantly being in the hospital. I know it can be hard. I know it can be. You have to be very intentional to say, oh, after my morning shift, I'll go out. Take
Sometimes
somebody
the
that
next
after
thing is
that
to go
stress,
and sleep.
let me just go and sleep. But most times, we don't have amazing memories when we are just always going to sleep and using that as a coping mechanism. I feel like we should also develop better coping mechanisms. Look at the other things that make me feel relaxed. Some people with writing, when they write, when they express themselves, or maybe when they talk to a friend, or maybe when they listen to a particular music. So let me just share this. Whenever I'm laughing because it's usually funny, working in accident and emergency unit, and accident and emergency units can be
Mm.
a lot. So whenever I'm done, whenever it's like 30 minutes, then of my shift, we are handing over, we are doing this and that, we're already rounding up, that the next shift nurses are already ready to take over the shift and all of that. There's this song that I play, and I just plug in my AirPods, and it's like, the title is Home, and 121 Stella, those are people that is like a group of choir. So it's like, it's like a Ile in Yoruba. It's like, oh, Ile, I'm going home. Like that. That's just the lyrics of the song. Like, I'm going home. The night is over. Light has come. I can see the light again. When I get home, after maybe taking my bath, getting refreshed and eating, and I just take a walk and all. And even that taking a walk, sometimes it helps me to meet people on the way. Maybe, oh, I see you're taking a walk and all. I've met amazing people, amazing friends from taking a walk. So those, I just found out that instead of sleeping, it's not every time that you get home that you'll be sleeping, honestly. So that's just what works for me.
Mm.
Honestly, that's just what works for me. So I advise everyone also to find what they can do to distress mechanism for them that will make them feel relaxed aside from sleeping.
Okay, thank you so much. I think in a nutshell, or in summary, it's just saying that navigating burnout doesn't have to be like it's a luxury or very, very expensive, because everything you've mentioned
Yeah,
is the simple things that we neglect, like taking a
yeah,
stroll,
yeah,
journaling, just letting out a laugh, talking to a group of friends. So it's actually the
yeah.
simple things that sometimes we actually tend to overlook. So yeah, navigating burnout doesn't have to look like a luxury. It's not. It doesn't start and it doesn't end with taking medications, just to treat the pains and everything. There's so much more.
Yeah.
And what advice would you give to young nurses, right, who feel torn between following their profession and pursuing other passions? I think you mentioned it in depthly in the, I think it was the second or the third question, right? The final words you would give to any student nurse, or even young nurses, or any student out there who feels torn between following their profession and then pursuing other passions, right? The passions could be arts, just like you. It could be in business, it could be in technology. So what advice would you give to such person?
Okay, the advice is that don't let go of one for the other. You might regret it. Don't let go of one for the other. You don't have to combine it like I did, but express it. I feel like there's nothing that you want to do that you cannot do. If I just really have that confidence that there is nothing you want to do that you cannot do a minimum version of it. You can do a small version of it. If you really love tech, you can use your phone, start with graphic design, do something. Design for your faculty event. Like just express it, do it, live it, talk about it, work on it. And if both succeed, all well and good. If it doesn't, you know that oh you have even tried, you have and
Mm-hmm.
people will know you for it. So I have presently now I have some of my junior colleagues that just graduated. But some of them are models, some of them are business moguls, some of them are um tech people, some of them are into farming, some of them are into creativity, some of them are developing products like lip gloss, they are making it themselves, they are selling it, entrepreneurship. They are doing all these things, and it's even more exciting when you want to introduce yourself and you have something else that you're doing that is not, it's not just, in fact, people these days, okay, another gist, when we started this, when I started my internship, so I'm doing my internship currently for people that don't know. So when I started my internship, and we started the introduction and the onboarding sections. So we spoke to our senior colleagues that brought us in. They were introducing themselves, introducing the hospital to us, and all of that. So one thing that they asked, and a question that I just felt like, this question is that, oh, aside from being a nurse, what else do you do?
Oh.
And a lot of people are just standing up. Some people are saying, oh, I'm a content creator. Oh, I have a particular perfume store. Oh, I'm into tailoring. Oh, I crochet. And it felt like everybody literally has something else
Something else.
aside from nursing. And if and then there is somebody that stood up and was like, oh, I don't really do much right now. And if you see the way those nurses actually bashed that, like, I felt sorry for the girl because I just like, ah, God. The woman was like, oh, so you mean that your 5 years of school, you do not really do anything aside from going to class? So what I'm trying to say is that the system now, the trend
Mm-hmm.
now, the world that we are in now does not permit you to just be one thing. Even content creators, they are also brand influencers. They go for events, they do public speaking, they write, they publish, they develop products. It's okay, they are content creators, but they are also doing other things. Even tech, people that are into tech now, they make content about tech. They help people to do this and that. They do consulting. They go for events as public speakers. They write about their products, what they are doing. There's just really nothing. Even tailoring now, you have a skill as a tailor. You cannot just say you stay in your shop and automatically clients will come. If you don't do something to attract, if you don't go outside the box, if you don't go outside the regular thing to do something else, you will not succeed in this generation that we are now. So you have to be one, two, three things if possible. And also you have to learn how to balance things. No
Yeah.
matter what, nobody will excuse your failure because oh, I was busy doing something else. Nobody. I just really can't say privilege that I did not feel throughout my nursing school days because sometimes I wonder that how did I even do it? So nobody will give you a round of applause for failing at one because you succeeded at another. I don't know if that makes sense. Nobody will give you an applause for failing because oh I was busy doing something else. Why can't you just do well at this too? So that's just my advice that you have to learn to balance both. You have to know yourself. That's one thing. You have to know what works for you. There are some people that they cannot take on so many tasks at once.
Mm-hmm.
But you can do one and then proceed to the other. You don't have to do all at a time. So the major thing is just know yourself very well. Be very self aware. What works for you? What are your stress coping strategies or mechanisms? What are the things that make you feel better when you are stressed? What are the things that you are passionate about that you are willing to pursue outside of your regular academic work? What are the things that you love to do for a long time? You know, those are the things that will change the game for you and your career. And the thing, even if you're working in an organization now, they don't want the organization and your HR doesn't want you to do the monotonous routine. They want you to suggest ideas. They want you to do better. Just be extra. So you have to be extra as a person, as a nurse, especially. So because if you are a nurse and you are working in as a nurse and all you are doing is just your regular shift, maybe you are making money and all of that, nobody is going to know you. Let me say that. Nobody is going to call you. Nobody's going to say, oh, you are doing well. Come and do this. No. But when you're lending out your voice for something that you're passionate about, when you're when you're writing about it, when you're speaking about it, working it, living it as a person, the people will say, oh, this girl can do this. For example, I really admire you as a person. Let me just add that. And I really love what you're doing as a digital nurse because there's no way, like when they're looking for anyone that is in healthcare and is doing something digital, it just comes to their mind that oh, there is love, like love is doing something like this. So let me call her. So assuming you are just boxed in and you are not putting out yourself to the public, you are not lending out your voice, you are just doing your thing low key. Nobody will know. Even me, I might not know you. Do you know that? Even you might not know me because our distance is very different. Like we don't stay in the same place. We have never seen each other before. I don't know you exist. If you've never posted or put yourself out there, I don't know. So one thing I just want to advise anyone that is just coming up, I am also coming up, but you get my point, is that we should try and just lend out our voice. Even if you are starting from day one, there are people that made their first LinkedIn post and it blew up, right? That had thousands of likes and impressions. So what if you did not actually start? So you have to start and you have to try and even be extra, put a style, have a unique brand identity, recognize who you are, have something that you stand for as a person. For me, I stand for art, I stand for mental health, mental well-being, I stand for healthcare and healthcare professionals particularly. And a lot of people, when they come my profile like that, they message me, I'm like, oh, I love what you're doing about this and that. It's because I've actually learned my voice and it's very clear that oh, I'm not a digital nurse. It is love that is a digital you know, she's a digital nurse. She's actively acting health, acting healthcare, mental well-being, and all of that. So we have our unique identity like that. And if you want to do it, if you want to be recognizable, if you want to have make impact, you have to be willing to show yourself, like live out that passion that you have, work on it, do it, like let people see. Volunteer, like those are the places where you can be able to express yourself without doing too much. Just volunteer. Like if you, even if you don't know anything about social impact, you don't know anything about, just volunteer. At least if you join a team, if it's social media you're passionate about, you join social media. You have the equipment, you have the platform to pursue whatever you're doing, and you can maybe post about it, and people be like, "Oh, you're doing amazing thing. Let me also call you for this." So if people don't see that result that you have had before, they are not going to call you. That's just how it works. So I really wish you all the best, and I'm rooting for all upcoming nurses out there.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. I thought I was actually going to follow up on everything you said. It's a lot. It's a lot. I think one of the lessons I picked, right, is not just speaking one thing and leaving the other because it's going to die off, right? It's just like if you decide to feed your body and then you don't feed your soul, you don't feed your spirit, or you decide to feed everything about academics and you don't feed other aspects of your life when it comes to your mental health, spiritual, financial health, they're all going to die off. So the same thing with pursuing your career, academics and your passions, right? And one thing I just want to add to that is for people who struggle, like, okay, I have multiple interests, but this career or the whole nursing shift is taking a whole lot from me. I think it's more about prioritization and, if weekdays are going to be for your career, let weekdays be for your career. And then weekends, try and do something, right? You can just, 1 hour can actually go a long way. And just like you mentioned, it's not luxury. I hope you found this episode truly worth your time and insightful. Let me know in the comments what insights stood out the most for you and what is your biggest takeaway. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so that you don't miss out on the next episode as soon as it drops. And if you know anyone else who needs to hear today's conversation, please share this with them. Until I come your way again on the next episode, this is Ivy Drips of Wisdom. Stay safe and get ready for your next dose.